Yo, 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 welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the two best and most informed teams in the world, and that's FC Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain. FC Barcelona, obviously, since the beginning of the season, have been cooking. They had, what was it, like a 2-month patch towards the end of the 2024 calendar year. It didn't go that well. Madrid, obviously, were first in the league, and now it's back to Barca. Paris Saint-Germain obviously had the underwhelming run in the beginning of the UCL for like 2 months. Then it went back. So a bit similar. Barca was mostly La Liga. Paris Saint-Germain, it was the Champions League in the beginning of the season. But for majority of the season, these have been the two best teams. I've rated FC Barcelona since maybe 5-7 games in the beginning. You know, it was trolling. It was, oh, this is a purple patch. Oh, this is Fugazi. This is only La Liga. But after, you know, the big 4-1 victory over Bayern and 4-0 victory over Real Madrid that I witnessed live, I was like, yeah, no, this Barca team is one of the best in the world. And, you know, for majority of this season, especially in the Champions League, it was a lot about Barca and Liverpool, Barca and Liverpool, Barca and Liverpool. And I was like, no, Liverpool are not that good. Liverpool are not that good. Because I watched Liverpool, and they were not that good. They were good. They were one of the best teams in the world, but I don't think they were level on FC Barcelona. Then, obviously, Paris Saint-Germain started cooking in November. Yes, sir, baby. Everything came back. Luis Enrique and the players had a meeting, and, you know, ever since then, they have been playing at their level once again. And Paris Saint-Germain, I think Paris Saint-Germain is number one ever since, you know, we've come into form. Or gone out of bad form, and FC Barcelona right behind us is second place. And then I think it's a gap until the likes of Arsenal, Inter, and Real Madrid. But I think Paris Saint-Germain and FC Barcelona also play great football. It's the offensive football that these two teams play. The offensive, brilliant football. I think they are the top goal scorers this season. Barca first, Paris Saint-Germain second. You know, one of the biggest chance creators in the world in both teams as well. I think Paris Saint-Germain create slightly more chances. Barcelona slightly more clinical in front of goal this season. But taking a look at both teams, I think that's another thing that makes these two teams, you know, two beautiful teams to watch, two exciting teams to watch. These are not just the best teams in the world in terms of, you know, the stages they're reaching. It's the football. It's the Jogadorino. It's the Jogadorino. So, let's take a look at the teams here. First of all, you have Chesney versus Donnarumma. I mean, goalkeepers, it's not that exciting of a position to compare to, but two good goalkeepers. I think both of them have been top 5 this season. Shout out to Chesney coming out from retirement and performing this well for FC Barcelona. And Donnarumma, out of the 3 seasons he's been at PSG, or 4, potentially the best just because of that Liverpool performance. Let's see what he does in the semi-final versus Arsenal. Then we go to the defense. Nuno Mendes versus Balde. Love that a lot. Two young, attacking-minded left-backs. Obviously, Nuno Mendes can obviously defend at a high-quality level as well. Nuno Mendes also being Balde's idol as well when being asked about his idols in football. But I love both of them. I think Nuno Mendes is, once again, a step higher than Alejandro Balde. But Alejandro Balde, not to take anything away from him, he's been sensational this season for FC Barcelona. Obviously, it was great that first season under Xavi. Last season wasn't that good, got injured, and now is back to top form. And, you know, especially in the recent games I've been watching Barca, he's one of the most exciting players. Going for the defense, you can potentially... Obviously, our starters, Marquinhos, not Beraldo. These are just the footballs from the last game in the Champions League. I think Pacho and Kubarsi could potentially put something into it too, you know, unexperienced, young. Obviously, Kubarsi much younger than Pacho, but both unexperienced and being very great and solid for their clubs. And then you have Inigo Martinez, who, you know, came from Bilbao on a free, didn't really know his role in the team, and now has been one of the most consistent and best centre-backs in Europe this season. And then you have Marquinhos, you know, experienced, one of his last seasons at Paris Saint-Germain, trying to do his absolute best. And then you have the right-back position, Achraf Hakimi. I think it's a bit similar to the Nuno Balde thing. Hakimi, clearly the best right-back in the world. Koundé, I think clearly he is number 2. I don't like these trend debates and so on. Like, you got to defend first. Defend is way more important than attacking. If you're decent at defending but really great attacking, that's really good. But if you're garbage at defending like Trent, come on, I can't take that seriously. But then now we come to the most beautiful parts comparing these two teams, is the midfield and the attack. Because look, Yes, Dona, Chesney, the Barca defense, the Paris Saint-Germain is the fullbacks. Once again, it's with Barca, but I think maybe individuals, Barca have a good defense. But we're here for the midfield and the attack. We're here for Vitinha, Pedri. Once again, they are the two best midfielders in the world. I think Pedri is, one level, or, he's number one, and then Vitinha, and then it's a big gap to everyone else. I mean, they have been sensational for their teams this season, especially in the big games, especially in the Champions League, controlling the tempo, dictating the game in a very deep position. I mean, think about it. Tell teams that, oh, yeah, I'm going to play Pedri, a midget, and Vitinha, a midget, as number sixes. And they're completely dominating and controlling football, which I love, because I don't like how the Premier League has affected, football with their physicality and duels. Like, this is not rugby. We're trying to play football here. It's about what you do with the ball. It's not your size. So shout out to Vitinha and Pedri. I mean, by far the two best midfielders in the world. And then you have João. You could say Fabian Ruiz and Frankie de Jong. That's a great one. Fabian Ruiz, Frankie de Jong, similar ages. I think 27, 29. Touted ever since, Fabian Ruiz came through at Betis and De Jong came through at Ajax, and now they're absolutely cooking. Two technical magicians, two players that are also not the best off the ball, but because they're so good on the ball, that compensates for them not being the best on the ball, and they're having a resurgent season. Fabian Ruiz obviously has had it for a long time, was good for Paris Saint-Germain last season in the big Champions League games, was the best player at the Euros, and now coming into this game. And lastly but not least, the third midfielder, we have João Neves, the most exciting midfield prospect in the world. I mean, he's absolutely sensational. Obviously, he's taking more of a back step role in the Paris Saint-Germain midfield ever since Fabian Ruiz came in for Warren Zaire-Emery. When Warren was playing, Warren played more defensive, Neves played more offensive. Now it's the opposite. Fabian Ruiz plays more offensive and Neves is more defensive. But he's been, once again, very great for Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League this season. Barca, when it comes to the third midfielder, it's a bit because they basically have four players. They have Fermi Lopez, they have Dani Olmo, they have Pablo Gavi. Have we forgotten someone? And Marc Casado. Marc Casado obviously competing more with De Jong for that double pivot spot, but Casado, good talents, being good. Lopez, good talent, being good. Olmo, by far, obviously the best, but he's extremely injury prone. But despite that, when he performs, when he plays for Barca, he's been one of their best players this season. Incredible talent. Just unfortunate how injury prone it is. And lastly but not least, Pablo Gavi is still fighting to come back to his level after that ACL and is trying his best, but he's a good player as well. But now we come to the attack. We come to the attack. So, Barcelona, 3 players. Paris Saint-Germain, basically 4. As you can see in this picture, is Ousmane Dembélé, Desiree Doué, and Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. But Bradley Barcola is also missing, who has like 35 GA this season. We can talk about the goal scorers first. Barca, it's different because they have 2 goal scorers. Paris Saint-Germain this season, I would say, have Dembélé as the goal scorer. Barcola has been a good goal scorer. But I wouldn't put him on par with Rafinha, who has like 12 Champions League goals this season. But yeah, Rafinha, what a season he's been for Rafinha. I was one of the people trolling in the beginning of the season, saying it was a purple patch and everything, but he's kept it consistent, has dropped down in La Liga heavily in 2025, but has kept that up with his Champions League performances with 3 GA in the last game. Then we can take a look at Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, obviously signed in January. What a signing he's been. He just makes football more exciting to watch. That is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. And on top of that, he can get you goals, he can get you assists, and he has big game performances. The pressure does not come to his head. Essentially a bit similar to Rafinha. Not footballing-wise, but impact-wise. Then you have Ousmane Dembélé and Robert Lewandowski. The 2 top goal scorers for these 2 teams this season. I think they are both in like top 5 in Europe this season for goals scored. Remove penalties. I think Leva is first, Dembélé is second. So, yeah, the both of them are having an incredible season. Dembélé could potentially comparing a bit to De Jong or Fabian Ruiz in the sense, he's always had the talent. It was all about, getting it consistently, not getting injured. That's finally happened to Ousmane Dembélé, and what a Ballon d'Or-esque season he's having. Absolutely sensational for Paris Saint-Germain. And Robert Lewandowski, at the ripe age of 36, is, putting in, goals galore. The top goal scorer in Europe this season. Bradley Barcola, 35 GA this season, has been a bit of a system player, only 25% dribble success rate, but he's been hugely impactful for Paris Saint-Germain, getting important assists and a goal versus City, getting a huge assist versus Liverpool at Anfield, and yeah, I mean, it just talks about how good the next player we're going to come to Paris Saint-Germain, Desiree Doué, is, that Bradley Barcola did not start the recent game in the Champions League. And then you have Desiree Doué and Lamine Yamal. One is 17, one is 19, lighting up Europe. I would say they are undisputed, the two best under-21 players in the world. Yeah, and they both played recently a Champions League game, SKC 8.7 and 8.6 rating each. Great goal by Lamine Yamal and a bombastic goal from Desiree Doué. And that's why I want these two teams to face up in the Champions League final. Last season, heavily early on in the season, I got asked from the chat, who do you think is going to be in the Champions League final? I always back my team, and I think we were good last season and this season to potentially play in the Champions League final. And I backed my team against Madrid last season. It would have happened if we didn't battle against Dortmund last season, but unfortunately, we did not get it. This season, though, since the beginning of the season, people asked me, just say. And I was like, okay, obviously Paris Saint-Germain are going to be in the Champions League final. We're in the semi last year. This year, it's going to be us in the final. And then I had to pick another team, and I picked FC Barcelona. It was potentially, at that time, a bit controversial because we hadn't seen Barca on the flick. We hadn't seen how good they are. I just had that feeling, and that feeling is turning out to be true. If Barca win all of their remaining games and Paris Saint-Germain win all of their remaining games, we'll have a Paris Saint-Germain FC Barcelona Champions League final, which would be one of the best and most exciting finals in a very long time. I think this would be one of the first finals in a long time where both teams, you could pretty much say it's a 50-50 final. Barca fans will edge it to Barca, PSG fans will edge it to PSG, but generally, it's a very tight game. When City came up against Inter, we didn't watch the final. When Madrid came up against Dortmund, we didn't watch the final. And when you got a City-Chelsea final, it's not really about that team is better than the other. It's just two boring teams. These two are the most exciting teams in world football. These two are the best offensive teams in world of football. These teams are the two best teams in the world of football. One funny thing as well, when you look at Barcelona versus PSG, Champions League head-to-head stats, I mean, this is just sexiness at its peak. Paris Saint-Germain have 5 victories versus Barca. Barca have 5 victories versus Paris Saint-Germain and 4 draws between the two clubs. Paris Saint-Germain have scored 27 goals and FC Barcelona have scored 27 goals. This is a final matchup made in heaven. FC Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. Barcelona, obviously, you could say we're owning us. For the first time we faced was 12-13. Barca went away on away goals. Then we faced in 14-15 group stage. We won 1, Barca won 1, and then they beat us twice in the knockout stages. I think the next time was remontada. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain absolutely slaughtering Barca at the back, and then remontada happened. But ever since then, it's been Paris Saint-Germain. In 2021, Kylian Mbappe a hat-trick. Last season, Araujo, Dembele. So it's been Barca. Now it's PSG for a while. Then we can take in transfers like Paris Saint-Germain. Barca trying to get Verratti. Paris Saint-Germain took Neymar, Messi, and Dembele. So this final has the narratives, has the players, has the managers, has the philosophy, has the football, has the entertainment. I honestly hope, obviously for Paris Saint-Germain, I hope we'll reach the Champions League final and win it, obviously. And for and for the other side, I don't really care who we face. But honestly, Barca is the toughest and would mean the most to beat in that Champions League final. And as I said, even for football neutrals, all of them want this Champions League final. The players versus the players. Flicks, all-out attack, blitzkrieg versus Luis Enrique's controlled, high-intensity, high-pressing. I can't wait. I can't wait for this game to happen. And I hope it happens. I hope Paris Saint-Germain doesn't bottle it like last year versus a disgusting, filthy Arsenal side. And let's see what Barca does. I'm not going to support them to make the final, but at the back of my head, it would be nice if FC Barcelona reached the final on the other side and we faced up and we beat them, winning our first Champions League. Breaking our virginity versus FC Barcelona is something we would always have over them. Debate with the Barca fan, he starts trolling. Well, we beat you in a Champions League final. So I can't wait for this game. Paris Saint-Germain and FC Barcelona are the two best teams in the world. We don't care about Arsenal for gaziness, nor Inter for gaziness. This tie will decide football. And the most interesting thing also about the Paris Saint-Germain and FC Barcelona side, another, similarity between the two clubs is this, if I can find it. Well, is there we go. The average age in the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain 24.8, FC Barcelona 25.8. Compare this to other clubs, you got Arsenal a bit. They're still a young team. But if you look at Real Madrid 27, City 27, like these are two young teams. Paris Saint-Germain and FC Barcelona, this will not be the only time they face in a while. I think we will face each other a lot of times in the upcoming events. It will be huge. It'd be huge. Both, Flick, I think, is going to be there for at least 2-3 years. Lucia's going to be here for at least 2-3 years. Two young teams. I can't wait. Well, that's been it from my boy PS Gent. And as usual, allez, bye.